There's my SEO Tom channel in YouTube. So anytime that you're looking for a video, previous video, check out there. Also, make sure that you remember there's over 30 videos that I've still got on my website. So that's in addition to what you see in YouTube. There's a bunch. So if anybody's having issues trying to find videos, let me know. Also, if you clicked on the link in our group to get to the videos and you've signed up in my site, let me know that. I usually watch those people who do sign up, and then I try to compare them with a list of members of our group. If they're not a member, they don't get to see the videos. If they are a member, they get to see the videos. But I need to make sure that if you register and I see that you're a member, then I'll do that. So if you don't see the videos, if you can't find a link to the videos after you've registered in my site, let me know. I just obviously overlooked you and need to make sure that you can access those. So who am I? Arthur will tell you. We're here with SEO Tom channel on YouTube, streaming live. So if anybody doesn't want to have the public see their face, feel free to turn off your camera, but stay with us, don't go anywhere. And Arthur Moorhead is here, extremely knowledgeable person with WordPress and especially with Elementor. So if any of you have Elementor and you're struggling a little bit, get in touch with Arthur. And we've both been doing this for a long time. I've been developing websites and applying SEO for just about 25 years. I think we know a little bit to be able to help you guys out. Okay, so any questions before we get rolling along here? And I better check over on, just raise you. If you got a question, you can either just literally raise your hand. Oh, there you go. Kea. Is that Kea or Kia? I guess I need to unmute you to find out.
It's Kia.
Kia, okay.
Well, it's not a question, but it's more so I used what you said last week, and some of my keywords are ranking like 6th position on Google, 8. So I don't know if that matters, but I was like, at least I found myself, and I wasn't like on the 12th page of Google. So
oh, you were checking your keyword terms and you found you've got a page on page 1?
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
yeah,
very
I'm
good.
on page 1 on some keywords, for some keywords, like 3 of them.
Very good. That's great. And is that a local search or a national search?
It's a local search. I'm trying to figure out how to do it for a national search, but I was like, okay, I'm getting somewhere. So
I would highly recommend that you wait until you try to go national. Do local first, because it's easier to attain that search engine, page 1 search engine position with a local search. And then after you've got some traffic and you've been at least a couple of months that you've got this traffic flowing, seem to have a good steady place in that page 1, then consider a national. Don't just rush into it. Because when you change things like that, that means that you're going to adjust the page that's in page 1. Instead of being local, you're going to switch that to national. So you have to be really careful to do that.
Okay, so just leave it alone, right?
Yeah. I just told somebody the other day he's got a page 3 and a page 1 position for his website using the same or similar keyword terms. And it just happens to be for different cities. If you put in one city's on page 3, another city's on page 1. So I said, don't mess with those pages. They're going to create traffic to your site. And that's what helps you. When you start increasing the traffic to your site, Google pays more attention to you. So the changes that you make will make a bigger difference.
Yeah, and somebody called me yesterday and she found me from Google, so I was happy about that
Very
too. So
good.
I was like, oh, okay.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
People are getting some success from these two idiots on Zoom.
Yeah.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Congratulations. Pat yourself on the back. That's exciting, and I forgot what else I was going to say a minute ago. Has to do with the newbies, but I think that's important too. The local, target local. Unless you really know what you're doing, it's very difficult to target national. Go with that local first. I know I said that a few times, but sometimes it just doesn't get through to everybody. Okay, so we're going to talk about tools a little bit to get us rolling. Unless somebody else has another question. I'm always waiting for questions. Anybody have them? Oh, that's what I was going to say. There are no silly or stupid questions. If you look around the camera, most of the faces that you see are new people. And even some of the people who've been around for quite a while, it's still confusing. So if you have a question in your mind and you're afraid, well, it's probably a stupid question and they're going to laugh at me. No, everybody else is new and they're trying to learn. If you ask that question, I guarantee you there's 10 other people out of these 30 who are here now who are going to say, I didn't want to ask that question. I'm glad they did. So ask the questions. As long as we've been around, I like the simple questions and even sometimes what might be a stupid question. It's easier to answer. So ask away. Okay, now then, tools. Let's see if I can get my bag of tricks out here. In fact, I did a better one when I had them over here. Let me just wander for a second. And I want to make sure, because we're talking about looking at the work that you're doing and where you've done anything. I'm going to strip out some information in this, but when you're checking your work, which is really what we're talking about and why you would use any tools, you're trying to think, well, let's see, what can I do? And here are, I'm going to put it in here even with a couple of notes that I've got. And then I'm going to go through them. That first one, if you clicked on that, and I will use that link to go to that site, they have several tools. And the more tools that you can get, especially the free ones, the better. So you're always trying to find, what is it that I can, how do I help, how do I get this information, or how do I do that? This particular one is for your content analysis. So SEO Reviews, in fact, I'll do this so you can see, has quite a few tools.
Share your screen.
I did. It's showing for me that it's shared, but apparently we need to see it here too. That's interesting. Sorry. There you go. Okay, so we've got a lot of tools here at SEO Review Tools. And you're free to use whichever one that you wish, but this one in particular that I brought up first is for your text. So if you've got your text written, here's a place where you can go copy and paste your text into this page and see what kind of results it's telling you. So in other words, drop that text in there and it's going to show you off to the right side here how they review it, what Google thinks of it, and what this site says for it, and then your scores, that sort of thing. So go to your input, drop the text in, and see what it has to say. Now, if you wanted to use some other tools from this same site, there's plenty here. Duplicate content checker, domain authority checker, content idea generator. That may be good if you're having a difficult time trying to come up with some writing. You just don't know what you want to put in there or how to put something in. The page ranker. Now this is just all from the one site, and there you'll find if there's something that they're going to charge you for, they're going to tell you, well, you can do this many times, or you have to pay for that. But generally speaking, these are all free tools. Now, let's see. I'm going to stop the share for a second and go to the next one in the list. In fact, I didn't put that one in there, and I should do that for you. Ranks.nl. That is a very important one, and I'm going to show you why. Let's go back over here, and I'll share again. And let's see. Okay. Ranks.nl. Now, ranks, it's so full of good information, it's really hard to describe what it is. It's one of those things where you go in and you will have just one page up in the analysis. You analyze your site one page at a time, and there's so much information that you'll just sit there and stare at it and try to understand a lot, which is a good thing, because you should be able to get enough information that makes you stop and think. And you can see from this example that they're giving you ideas, they're telling you if something's wrong, it's analyzing to tell you exactly what's on the page, which is the first one here. The darkest colored one will show you that particular keyword term is Webmaster World, and on the particular page that was analyzed, that was the most prominent word on the page. And then we have, like I say, some places that are showing you good and the bad, any things that you forgot. And then it's showing you information about your domain. And of course, now we're getting into stuff where you're going, I have no idea what he's talking about. That's okay. Go back to the first page, because that's the one that you really want to understand. This page tells you what keywords are on the page, how prominent they are, and what you're looking for is how prominent any page is that you're trying to get into a page one. And I'm not finished with that. I'm going to show you more. But I wanted you all to be able to see that this ranks.nl is a tremendous tool for you all. And I'm going to have to move all these Zoom things out of the way. There we go. Now, just so I can get to the plans pricing to show you. Okay, the first one that you come to is, this is if you paid by the year. This is what their pricing is. You can pay by the month. So if you want to just pay for 1 month, it's $25. So everybody should have that in their mind. And you can do it for free, but you won't have all the tools available to you, and you can only check one page. So let's go sign in just to show you how much that you can see here. And again, moving the Zoom things out of the way. I see. Just checking chat. If anybody has a question, feel free to jump in. And we'll get down here to ranks. There we go. Now then, if you have a particular website that you'd like me to test, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to grab one. Okay, so when you first log in, Rosie, is that your hand up, or you? Let me get you to. Oh, Kia, you got your hand up. Kia, and there was somebody else that just went away. It was up for just a second. Okay. Kia, you want to do yours?
Please.
Sorry, what was that?
Yes, I want to do mine.
Okay. What's your website?
www. Glam events.
Glad Events?
Do you want me to put it in the chat?
Sure, that works.
Okay.
So while she's doing that, I want everybody to understand it doesn't make, if you have an account, you can look at any page on the internet. It doesn't have to be yours. That's one of the biggest things that I love about Ranks, because now you have a tool that you can compare your site to your competition that's on page one and see what they did and how they did it. You can see their H1 tags, see the text on the page, see their keyword tags, see the titles, everything about that page that relates to SEO. You can see it from your competition. And let's see, probably have it. Okay, Glam Studio. Oh, I should have known that, right? Come on, fingers. So we're going to look up Kia's site, and here we go. Now, again, looking at this little wheel, the wheel is saying the most important thing on the page because of the way that she has created the page and because of what other H1 tags or any of that sort of thing, or the number of times that she has said that on the page. Glam Events Studio is what the page is about. Now, I suppose that it probably would help if we went to the site itself so that you can see what's going on. So that's the page that we are looking at in Ranks. And Kia, this page is the one that's on page one? Did you go away, Kia?
I didn't unmute. I'm not really for sure what pages it is on page one. I couldn't tell. I just seen like certain keywords were ranking.
Okay.
I wasn't really for certain how to check to see which page it was.
Okay.
But I think that's the one, because that's the most text that I have on my website. I know I gotta add more, but
What's the keyword term that you searched?
hold on, let me go to my notes.
And folks, so you understand, it's important to know what keyword term that we're talking about to see what your position is. And then you go from there to see what the competition is like.
Okay, so I put a wedding planner, Gwinnett County.
What's the county?
Gwinnett, Gwinnett County.
Oops, I put country instead of county. Okay.
So that was one of them.
And do you know what page that you found yourself?
So when I did it on my phone, so it was like that. I don't know if that mattered, but it was like that page off to the side. So I don't know if I looked at it right or I'm not. I don't know. But yeah, I seen it come up for that keyword.
Okay. So
maybe I looked in the wrong place.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I'm going to make sure that I'm looking 2 or 3 pages here to see what's going on. But generally speaking, and folks, make note of this, no matter what you tell Google, they are going to figure out a way to drill into your computer to be able to see where you are, what area you live, the city, the state, county. Even if you tell them, I don't want you to have that information, they're going to do it. Now, that said, if you look through, we've gone through 4 pages, and I'm also going to look here and more.
That's what I was looking at, the businesses page.
You were looking, at these businesses? Glam Event Studio?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's not considered a page 1.
Oh,
You're in
okay.
you're in the results for those who have a profile under that particular keyword term, which is
Okay.
good. But the page itself hasn't attained anything in the top 4 pages. If you saw your page listed here, starting with this one, because above that you're looking at advertisements
Okay.
and also the business profiles. So the organic listing, which means that you did everything right on your page and it got moved into a page one, we call that an organic listing. It wasn't something that
Okay.
you did an AdWords campaign. It wasn't a bunch of advertisements that you had done other places to be able to get yourself that position. It's done because you did your SEO correctly on the page.
Okay.
So when Google sees that you're from XYZ city, that's what they're giving you results for. So even if you search your keyword term thinking, well, I'm going to find where my site lies, it's next to impossible because Google's going to show you here is all of the local information, or here's yours because I see that, well, it's your website, so of course it would be in your search because you're looking in that county. But
So,
go ahead, sorry.
as far as ranking, that I just changed it like last week to include some of the keywords, and I seen something on my site where it said to index this page, but then I lost it, so I was like, I don't know where to find it anymore. So was I supposed to index the page?
Now, Google should have indexed the page.
Oh.
Where did you see the index?
So I use Wix, and when I was
Uh,
building the website, it said something about indexing the page, but then I went back and I couldn't find it anymore.
well, if it was there and telling you, do you want to get Google to index that page, that may be something. But if the
Okay.
information is gone, if that link is gone, then it's already been indexed.
Okay.
And we can also find that out here in Google Positions. So this is going to tell you where you are. If you are in, if ranks even shows that you have a position, you're in a position that you can now understand how to push that site into page one, because they're not going to go past page 100. Yeah, 100 is an awful lot, but let's take a look.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at where Kia is. She's 13 for Glam Events Venue, 14 for Glam Events. Both of those would be page 2 because you have 10 results per page, 10 organic results per page. And then Glam Event Venue, which is page 2, it's bordering page 2, page 3 because it's position number 22. So none of that is bad information. Does that make sense, Kia?
It does.
So when you're in those positions, and because you've made a change, whatever pages that you changed, whatever pages have these 3 terms on it, don't touch them right now. Let them sit.
Okay.
Because Google could be thinking about the fact that, well, you made a change, let's see if that makes it better or worse. And that's exactly what's happening right now.
Okay.
And here are
So
some.
can I add more text to the other pages or just leave it alone completely?
You can, when you start seeing that your pages, the pages in your website are getting you into positions, say, under page 5 in Google, that's the time you have to be really concerned. Now, before I change anything, let me take a look and see how this page is doing. If that page is off, 100 pages back, yeah, feel free to change something.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're in that page 1 through 5, be careful. If you just changed something, don't change anything yet unless it's maybe a picture or a period
Okay.
or something like that. Arthur, you had something?
You can work on your other pages,
Yeah.
while while those pages are ranking. You just watch how they're moving up and down, in the ranks. And But as far as your other pages, that's when you want to start working on your other pages.
Okay.
Okay. So we
Thank
know
you.
that you know that you're doing pretty darn good. So keep
Yeah,
up
I'm
the good
trying.
work. Yeah, that's very good. So folks, what we're doing, you can just pretend like this is your competition. You can look at any page that you want, open another tab on your browser, and then go to the exact same area. You can just, because I'm logged in, if I can move this garbage out of the way from Zoom, just go back to ranks and analyze a different page. And then you've got the two tabs so you can compare competition, my page.
Oh, okay.
And now you can go, oh, well, in fact, we could even do that. Where did I search? Um, let's see what she had. Glam events. Let's try glam events and see what happens. Fingers. Okay.
Well, I can give you one of my competitors. Um, with somebody. Allaboutposture.com.
Okay, hang on to that thought for a second. I'm trying to see if I can see yours. It says glam events was which page? Glam events is 14, so that's the one bordering on page 3. So if I go to page 3, it should be here somewhere. Is this you?
No.
Kenya. Glam Events Studio? That
No,
you?
that was the first website that somebody built for me that he messed up, and it's still indexed on Google. But I had somebody else build another site for me with the correct domain name. So
So you have two websites with the same content?
no, well, similar domain name. He just left the S out of I have two S's in my name, but he left one out, and the site wasn't finished.
And they're both listed on your
Yeah, that
Google
one wasn't.
business profile?
No, just the one that I have now.
But what I mean is, are they still showing the same location?
It's right there by the cursor. He just yeah, that one.
Okay, because you gotta be careful with having two websites with the
Yeah, I
same
know.
content. Okay,
Yeah, I know. That was the site that was originally built for me, but he brought the wrong domain name, and then I got rid of him, and then I had somebody else make my website for me with the correct domain name. So that's why there's two.
Who's in
But I don't
control
think
of this website?
somebody that I met off of Fiverr, he wouldn't take it. He wouldn't take it down.
you wouldn't take it down, but you own it?
No, he brought the domain name for me. He wouldn't give me any of the information. So I reached out to him to get rid of the site, but he wouldn't do it.
Is there information in excuse us folks, but you'd want us to do the same thing. We want to know if there's information here that's going to show that it has a different site. WordPress. I was trying to see if you had Google Analytics in there, and I would raise the roof if that was true. But I don't see the analytics in here. So at least he did that. He took the analytics out of the site.
Okay, good.
Um, if I were you, I would go through the pages and see if your name exists anywhere.
Okay. Yeah, he didn't do much to the site. I got rid of him before because he said that was a complete site, but I was like, that's not what I wanted. So I had to hire somebody else to build what I needed.
The biggest thing that you're looking for in this site is that there is nothing in this site that is saying that there is similar or that it's connected to your live site. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes, it
Okay.
does.
Um, I s-
Can I ask, is this site live?
yeah.
It is live. I told him to take it down, but he was upset because I got rid of him, so he wouldn't get rid of the site. Cause he could have, yeah, he could have taken it down, but he didn't.
What I would do is I would contact Google, because
Okay.
this site is mirroring your site,
Mm-hmm.
and I would contact Google and report it.
Okay. I sure will do that.
Just let them know that a developer has a different domain, slightly different domain with my site and won't take it down. So
Okay. And they'll remove it.
It's hard to say if they'll move it.
Yeah.
But I would just, let them know that, you know, I see it as a like kind content is what I'm seeing.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be concerned about, that affecting your page rank.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Jack, you had your hand up. Go ahead. Oops. Got to unmute him. There you go.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm pretty well connected on Fiverr and some of these other sites where people work. If you need some assistance in taking that duplicate website down, just send me an email and I can take that for action.
There you go, Kia. Did you hear that?
If you're using Fiverr
Yes,
or Upwork,
I heard it.
if you're using Fiverr or Upwork, like I said, I'm pretty well connected with those two platforms, and I will be more than happy to help you out. But I need the duplicate website and things like that. I'll put my Gmail in the chat for you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
Okay. And we'll get rid of that one. Any other questions before we go forward? Okay, so just checking a few things in chat, making sure that I'm not missing anybody. All right, questions about ranks so far? Any question about how to use it, or why to use it? Don't be afraid to ask questions, folks. There are no stupid questions. So if you're looking at it thinking, well, I don't know what that thing is, then say that. I have no problem in making sure that you completely understand what ranks does. Now, given that there are tools and there are things that might be more than what you want, but I like to stick with, I'm going to describe what you want to know, what's important for you. Okay, so we'll move forward and let's take a look at more of the tools. Did I only send that to Arthur? Did everybody get that, the list in chat?
There.
I know I see that Arthur's the only name that's on there, but that's not
Yeah.
what I wanted to do. Did you post that all in there? Okay, so Brittany says she didn't see the list. My bad. I sent that just to Arthur. Oops.
I just moved it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right,
I
so
didn't even notice that.
I didn't at the time that I put it in there. So ranks is where you are going to compare. You can compare to your competition. You can just compare to what you had previously if that's what you want to do. But ranks is going to show you exactly what your page is doing. And we had a prime example. Kia was sure that she'd attained that page 1 or page 2, but we found out that it's a little different than that. So you've confirmed by using ranks where you fall with Google. And yet at the same time, we also found some good news for her, that she's not very far back. That's excellent. And let me see if I can find Sagar. Did I pronounce that correct? Sagar? Can you come
You're
on?
getting an error.
Yeah, saying you're getting an error?
Yes, I am. I'm trying to do the demo thing on ranks.nl and it's showing it cannot be reached.
Okay. Put your URL in the chat, would you please?
Sure.
Okay.
Your screen.
I was getting there. So there it is.
Works for you. It's showing me error that site cannot be reached.
If you are you trying to use the free account?
Yeah, I'm trying to do the free demo one.
Okay. You have restrictions there. How many times a day did you try to check?
Just now, twice.
And it didn't accept it either time?
Yeah.
Could
It
be.
says it either does not exist or cannot be accessed by our tools.
Now, did you try what I did, which is just copy and paste the URL?
Yeah, I did that.
You
Interesting.
cleared your browser cache.
Yeah.
No, but I can do that and try.
And that would probably help you too. So, yep, the site is live. Rank sees it. So we know that it's on your end is where we're looking. And you do have a position
Like say
in
I
Google.
have this kind of like common keywords. So how do I make it up the rank on Google?
You're on position 27 for glows. I have no idea why or what, but I don't think that's of value to you. Did that make sense?
Because I've used like common keywords like glow in the dark.
Did you understand what I was saying, that you have a position for the word glow because it's used so many times?
Mm-hmm.
But
But say like if I want to make it up from 27 to say like say 1 to 10 position.
It depends on
I-
how you use the keywords in your content.
yeah, and I wouldn't
Okay.
push glow.
Okay.
Because glow is so generic.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking for glow. I mean, it glows is the name, but that's not what you're trying to target. What is the main keyword term that you're trying to target? And it may not be this
The dark.
page. It could be a different page.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you got glow in the dark as rocks. So everything is glow in the dark, and jewelry. All right, so you got jewelry and rocks. You need to,
Yeah.
have you done the search term? Have you researched the keyword term that you're trying to target?
Yes, I think I did the report on SEMrush. I got the free account with them, so I tried that and then I changed my keywords based on that.
Okay, and how many people search what? First, what's the term that you target?
So I was trying to do the glow in the dark term because mostly people search glow in the dark on Google. That's what my Google Analytics showed me.
Just glow in the dark?
Yeah.
Don't you want glow in the dark rocks, glow in the dark jewelry?
I think I've used that, but I was not sure. Like, should I, like, when doing the keywords, should I, like, repeat glow in the dark every time, or I can repeat glow in the dark once and then,
Folks,
just
the biggest
add
thing,
keywords.
the biggest problem that you may have is the keyword term. And we've covered that, and we'll cover it more because it is it's the most important topic, and it can also be one of the most confusing to try to figure out the keyword terms. But don't use a keyword term on your page or target a keyword term because it has traffic. You need to target a keyword term that is highly relevant to your site, to the specific page on which you are working.
Okay.
So it glows or glow in the dark. Yes, that's relevant to all your pages. But this particular page is about glow-in-the-dark rocks and glow-in-the-dark jewelry. Either of which you want to use on this page, and because you have two, you may have a hard time trying to get to that page one position. Now, if you have another page like glow stones, great, glow-in-the-dark rocks on this page. Is this an H1? Oops, don't want to do page source because that confuses everybody. Let's see, that is your H1. But, okay, hero title, I guess that's just your class tag, that's fine. So your H1 tag is glow-in-the-dark rocks. There you go. That's the page that you want to push the term glow-in-the-dark rocks. But you also need to get some text on the page.
Okay. This one was just the like product page, so I will add a text on this one.
Not one sentence or two sentences. You need to actually let people know what this is, why they're here, why should they buy from you.
Okay.
So get that information into the page and talk to them as if you're talking to a person. That's the way that you want to write your text.
Okay.
Okay.
And one more question: is it helpful if I put the like hidden, like alternate text keywords in
If,
on
if
all the
you're
images?
if hiding something in a page makes my hair stand up and what's left of Arthur's hair stand up, don't do that. Don't
No,
hide
like,
anything.
like alternate text. Can I use the keywords like glow in the dark rocks as an alternate text on these
No,
images?
unless you use them properly.
Okay.
So in other words, the alt tag is not used for just keyword terms.
Okay.
You will get sanctioned faster just putting keywords in there than you will if you use them properly and it happens to be a lot of keywords. In other words, each image can have the alt tag. That's fine. Only use a keyword term in the alt tag if it's logical. So what would be logical? Let's take a look at this keyword, at this image.
I see that as
There
a
isn't one.
glow-in-the-dark image, so I'm thinking he could put glow-in-the-dark green or yellow.
And there's no alt tag on it, so that's exactly correct. You start with, what's that picture?
Okay.
Glow-in-the-dark green rocks, or
Okay.
green glow-in-the-dark rocks. Do you see how you can use your keyword term?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
you need to use it correctly. And this would be blue glow-in-the-dark rocks. You've already established that it's glow-in-the-dark rocks on the page. But I wouldn't do that with every one of the pages because you could get caught for stuffing on that. So pick a couple of them
Okay.
and change it up as you're going through. Again, prime reason to use ranks, because ranks is then going to tell you how many times did you use that phrase on the page. Folks, as you're looking at keyword terms, whether it's a 2-phrase, a 3-phrase, and before I go further, Arthur, can everybody see my screen that I'm looking at? Okay. So it's even right here, 3.59, premium grade glow. And that's on the home page. It's too many times. You see where it shows density in this 4th column? 1, 2, 3, 4, density, 3.59. keep it under 3. And then move the terms, the keyword terms, and this is for everybody, not just for this person. Move the term closer to the beginning of the sentence if that's one that you do want to rank for. Does that make sense?
Yeah, just as long as it looks, as it's natural.
Yes.
You don't want, it has to make sense and it has to be, in conversation. You know what I mean?
Cigar, did you?
Yeah, I got
Okay.
it.
So you want to make sure that your text is always very logical, conversational, just like you'd be talking to somebody, because you wouldn't be saying glow in the dark to this rock and then that picture and glow in the dark. That's not how you talk to somebody. Hey, look at my glow in the dark rocks. They're all, and then you go on about something else, about everything related to those rocks. But
Okay.
you don't
Makes sense.
repeat the keyword term a bunch of times when you're talking to somebody, so don't do it in your text. Repeat it in a different sentence if it's logical. Repeat it a few times in your paragraph if it's logical and conversational. But reduce the density to maintain under 3%. And the prominence
Right,
means the prominence number shows you how close to the beginning of the sentence is your keyword term. In this case, it looks like it's about the middle of the sentence. So in order to make it more important, move it towards the front, move it towards the beginning of the sentence. So I hope everybody made notes on that, because both of those are really important. And this in the dark, I wouldn't worry about it, but yeah, you're a little over on that, but at 23, I don't know that I've seen one that high.
Yeah, I'm playing around with the fight. So.
Here's a bad one. So here you can see on that home page, glow in the dark is repeated too many times. That's a term that you're trying to use, although we've corrected you to say it should be glow in the dark rocks or glow in the dark jewelry. So use ranks as you make these changes, because all you need to do is refresh the page, refresh the analysis, and it will show you real time. Oh, okay, here's the change that we see. You don't have to come back in several days to look at ranks again to say, well, have they updated to see it? It's immediate. And if you can't refresh just this page, you can go back and you can get into the analyzer. You can write it here. You can go right to this spot, and your domain is there, and hit the go button again, and it will show you the updates that you've just made. So either way, it's going to show you live how you've changed your SEO. Again, folks, ranks.nl. You want to get really used to using it. And you don't have to spend a bunch of money. That $25 is for 1 month. And I forget how many times that you can use it, but more times than I think that you would be needing to use it in a month. So you have plenty of times to use it for $25. That is gold. Okay, have I ranted about ranks enough? Jack, you had your hand up. Do you still have a question?
No, actually, I'm busy helping out the individual with the glam lady with the
Oh,
duplicate
gotcha.
site.
Okay.
One question I did have, though, regarding the Glow site.
Mhm.
Is it possible to be just as effective with one standardized term versus 3 or 4? Is it possible for the individual just to use the term glow?
Why would you do that?
Well, the reason why is because if I have a standardized term, if something glows because it's incandescent or fluorescent, it glows in the light as well. It's just more pronounced in the dark. So my thinking on that particular website, would it be more advantageous to simply focus everything on glow
No.
instead of glow in the dark and have maybe 4 or 5 words that are alluding to the same product?
No, and I'll tell you why. How many times have you searched for glow?
But if I'm searching for the term glow and glow in the dark, my point is the word glow is still being used as a component of glow in the dark.
No. When you do a search in Google, if you search glow, all you're doing is pulling up every page that has that keyword. You want glow in the dark because that's what your site is about. Glow in the dark rocks, not just glow rocks or not just glow. And if they did glow in whatever light, then you could say glow rocks or glow jewelry. But it's still not glow. So when you search glow, you may switch from 20 million results to 500 million results. And you're not
There's
going
no
to be,
user intent with just one word.
yeah. And Google's trying to say, well, you searched glow, you didn't search glow rocks. So why should I show you glow rocks?
Let me ask a stupid question in this case, because
Okay.
now I'm learning something and I like the thought process. Would it be advantageous to me to have glow in the dark as one word?
Well, technically, the way that this site is using this term, I'm back over here, glow in the dark rocks. That's exactly what he's got. And he's saying this term is what the page is about. And that's how you want to tell Google, so Google knows when somebody searches glow in the dark rocks, then they can find your page. If you had just glow, that's only part of the phrase, so it's not going to appear.
If you're making it all one word, glow in the dark with no spaces,
Yeah,
it
that,
doesn't make any difference because Google's gonna know.
yeah,
It's smart enough to know that it's glow in the dark. I mean, just taking out the spaces is not gonna make any difference.
Okay, I understand. And is there an advantage or disadvantage to putting quotation marks around the search word?
no.
Yes?
That if you're searching in the search engines for a specific phrase, so whatever words that you typed in and you enclose those words in quotes, that means the page you're searching must have that exact phrase. But that's
Yeah,
not, that's, go ahead.
Yeah, it's like, that's the same as doing a direct search.
Yeah,
Thank you, guys. Wow, thank you. And thank you, Tom.
sure. Okay. Any other questions? And I know that none of them are stupid. They're good questions. Email.
Oh, yeah, nothing, no
Generic
such thing
meaning.
as a stupid question, that's for sure.
Yeah, I haven't heard a stupid question yet, so
No.
don't feel like you're asking bad questions, anybody. All right, so let's go back over here. I'm going to stop my share for a second so I can go back to the list. And we got into ranks.
Susie's asking, is the keyword prominence number higher, is close to the top? Yes,
Is the keyword
Susie,
prominence
yeah,
number
the
higher
prominence
is
is-
closer? No. Well, yes and no. Susie, that's actually a good question. You're talking about in ranks, is that correct, Susie? And if I could find you again, I'd have you unmute yourself. Let's see. I'm trying to find you in the long, but there you are. Okay. Susie, you're talking about in ranks.nl.
Yes.
When you look at this prominence, it does have some to do with where it lies on the distance down from the top. But generally speaking, this number is how close to the beginning of the sentence that term is. But Google will then see if it's close to the beginning of the sentence and it's close to the top of the page. That, to Google, gives it more prominence. It makes it more important for Google. That's why I always tell people, put that H1 tag as high up on the page as you can get it. You don't want it to be someplace that looks silly, but make it logical, put it someplace that it's really high on the page so Google understands that's really an important keyword term. Does that make sense, Susie?
Yes and no. So are you looking for a higher number, or are you looking for a lower number?
Higher number.
Okay, I think I understand.
Let's see if I can go down this list here and I'll show you something. See this one right here? Glow necklaces. Now I don't remember where any of the text is on that page, but I can guarantee you that on his homepage, that glow necklaces is at the beginning of a sentence, very close to the beginning of the sentence. So let's go back over here to the homepage and see if I'm right or wrong. And we'll see. Glow necklaces. Okay. And let's see, there it is in the menu. Looks like it's just in the menu. I have this closed caption in my way. Well, in Firefox it shows me if there's just one or more, and it's reached the end, it says. So that's it on the page. It's just that one in the menu. But you can see if they consider that a sentence, it's close to the beginning. Not right at the beginning, but it's got more after it than it does before it in the way of text. Does that make sense, Susie? Yes, no, maybe? Okay.
Yeah, she's muted.
Okay. And here's one, glow stones. That's a 93, which tells me that one is going to be even closer to the beginning of a sentence. There's glow stones, and of course that's the only place that it exists. It's in the menu. And it's not that these are important terms, I'm just showing you that you can see the difference in prominence. Prominence tells you it's close to the beginning of the sentence, or menu, or wherever those things happen to lie. Glow house, is that also in the menu? Glow house numbers. And that's the only place that one exists. Okay. So you're getting a better idea of what you can see and how in ranks. Even, that $25 a month account that you can get, that's going to allow you to just sit here on this page and really understand what it's telling you. And that's exactly what you want to do. If you happen to see that there's a number here in the Google positions, click on that, because it's going to tell you what page is in that position, whatever position it found. Glows. So glows. And it also shows you the competition for similar terms. Any other questions about those, what we've gone over so far? I'm going to search for what we, go ahead, anybody, hands? Or use that to get to your business profile, and if you have not created one, go there and create one. And as you can tell, I'm slowing down because that's extremely important, just like Arthur just said. You really need to have that profile in there. Yeah, if you need to verify anything, Google's going to send you a postcard. And if they are just saying, okay, you put this address in, they want to verify that address, they send a postcard to that address, and there's a code on it that you need to use, and it tells you what to do with that code. That's going to say, okay, great, now I've verified my profile, so it will show.
Kevin Rhodes made a really good point to me. He messaged me. Kevin, would you mind hopping on here and explaining what the knowledge graph is?
Is Kevin in the meeting?
Kevin Rhodes. He made a good point that Blair's has a Google Knowledge Graph, which is really hard to get.
He's unmuted now. Go ahead, Kevin.
Hi guys, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I had double mute, I had Zoom mute and my computer muted as well. Afternoon. Just so you know, Blair, and I just wanted to be respectful to the moderators here, but I shot Arthur a message. You have what's called a Google Knowledge Graph, which is not something that's very easy to get. Far more powerful than a Google business profile. You still need one. By all means, you definitely need that for your business. But in having that knowledge graph, Google deems your photography as something that's really, really important. So if you search for celebrities and one of the things that I quickly did a search for, like Donald Trump, and I shot that to Arthur just so he could see. Folks like celebrities and well-known individuals have knowledge graphs. So that gives you a huge leg up. If you want to get with Tom and Arthur on potentially doing something where they're a little bit more knowledgeable as far as SEO goes, and they can help you out and give you a little guidance with at least the fundamentals for the site, that would catapult you in the rankings significantly. So my recommendation would be to definitely get with them and see how they might be able to help you out and guide you along, at least with some of the fundamental things that could push your business forward.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I will have a chat with my webmaster tomorrow.
Okay, no worries.
Blair, do you have time after the meeting, which we need to wrap up here? Do you have a few minutes that we can chat after the meeting?
Sure, I'll take time.
Okay, so just stay with us after we close out. But
Okay.
I wanted to make sure that everybody does see this is one of the things that I'm pretty sure. Arthur, can you check and make sure that I added that in chat? I'm going to add it one more time just in case. Because it looks like a weird page, but it certainly is something for you to use as a tool. Search whatever that you want and watch. How about we'll go to, well, we could even use the term, oops, not that one.
You got your single.
They're gathering data. Now this is going to take some time, but you will see searches that people are doing. That's what this site is all about. Google expects you to search something and it shows you your results. But here you search for a particular term and it shows you what kind of things that people are searching for that are related to that same term. Are photos on Pinterest copyright free? Well, that doesn't have too much to do with what you're targeting, but again, you can look at some other things. Is
Yeah,
pencil?
these are questions that people have
Mhm.
that you can use as maybe writing a blog post for, or, you know, I mean, it's not exact thing, but, you know, it just gives you an idea of what's being searched, what questions people are asking.
So, what I'm suggesting is, Arthur's completely right. That's its generic idea, but you can use this to help you do some research for keyword terms. Because pictures of Pennsylvania is what Blair was using as a term. Whether it's good or bad doesn't make any difference. It's just that he put in that term. That's what I added to this search. So now I can get an idea of, if pictures of Pennsylvania is something that I wanted to target, I can see what kind of things that people are searching. And it shows you their questions. And when you might be confused, or you think, well, I know what term I'm going to use, and you start seeing some questions about related terms that you hadn't thought about, that's where this comes in, to help the lights go on, to go, there are other terms that I could be using that are even better, because you take this information and see how many people are searching in your keyword ideas for the same term. I already searched that one. I know that Google doesn't have anything related to this pictures of Pennsylvania. But if you said, green glow in the dark rocks. Oh, it's 0 to 10, so at least I know that. Well, you can go over here and go, well, is anybody searching that? And I want to see if I can search again. You can see I haven't used this often. Pictures of Pennsylvania, and let's see. Green glow in the dark rocks. So this isn't going to help Blair, but it could help the other person who has the glow-in-the-dark site. Then it'll give him an idea of, oh, people are looking for this, people are looking for that. And,
Oh, green.
oh, well, maybe it'll still come up.
It will.
Do any rocks glow in the dark? Which rocks glow in the dark? Where to buy glow in the dark rocks? See? People are looking for that information. And he's got a site where he's got them. Green glow in the dark rocks right there. Can rocks glow in the dark? Apparently so.
And you add the term where to it.
And yeah, they're where, and over here is when green glow in the dark rocks. So it's obviously a term that's fairly popular. Green glow in the dark rocks for a will. About why? Green glow in the dark stones. So using all these different tools is not a matter of I'm becoming, you're not supposed to become a master at any of the tools. It's just use the tools to be able to see what it can do for you. Kind of take a beat there so people can see all these different things. Questions on the tools. Do you find a tool or anything as far as our conversations today that you've got questions on? Oh, that's the one. Scroll up just a little bit on the right in the chat, and you'll see it's answersthepublic.com. Answer the public. Do you see that in there, Blair?
No,
It's maybe.
I'm only getting 3 things on my chat.
Oh, because you logged out and had to log back in. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, I was out, came back in.
I'll send it to him directly.
Oh, okay.
Can you see it now, Blair?
Oh, yes, I do. Okay, answer the public, I see it, thank you very much.
You bet. Any other questions before we wind up today? Everybody's been so quiet. I like questions. Brittany's looking very studious, like she's got something. Any other questions at all related to SEO? What a quiet group today.
I think we burned everybody's brain.
SEO does that. That's why we try to go over the same subjects several times, over several months though. We'll come back and we'll pick up things again. Brittany, go ahead, except I gotta unmute you. Go ahead.
I do have a question.
Okay.
Because you were talking about the keywords, and so I have a lot. And I received my free, I signed up for hopefully I can get a free report, but I did the free report on my company, or on my website on RanksNL, and I'm really lucky because BizStorming isn't something that people are utilizing, right? But when I did my keywords, a lot of that is BizStorming, highlighted biz, biz marketing, biz accountability, biz support, but not necessarily business accountability. Would it be better for me to have blogs that have that text, or because my website there's not a lot of text on my website because there's a lot of information on there it's as minimal as it can be, but it's still a lot. And so I'm looking at the key phrases, and these aren't things that people are going to be Googling when they're looking for a business accountability partner or a business coach or any of those things. It's not highlighted on what they're going to be looking for. So how do you produce accountability partner, or how do you produce those different words inside of the website?
Let's back up a little bit. First, let's take a look at the site, because we can always get a tremendous amount of information from looking at the site, and it helps us get on the same page.
It's bizstorming.net. B-I-Z.
Is it 2 S's then? So, no, never mind.
Z and then, B-I-Z and then storming.net.
Oh, B-I-Z, biz. Pay attention. Biz storming. Okay.
So the very first thing on my page is somebody else's page. I always have a highlighted business, which is the forefront of my page. I change that up every month. So I know that right there is going to mess with the SEO on my first page. However, my services pages don't change, and that would be what people would look for.
Okay,
I'm so scared. I haven't touched SEO yet.
Well, before I say anything about this page, your home page is got things that are going to be changing constantly. Is that what I'm hearing?
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, you're next to impossible to optimize that. You can put some in, but if you've got things changing on it all the time, that puts you in a situation where it's not the same, and Google wants to see that page is about that subject, and it's not going to change the keyword term or the heading. Maybe add some text, maybe manipulate a little bit of the text, but basically that page is going to stay the same. That's an overall of SEO. So let's not look at this page, because that would probably drive me nuts thinking about, wait, it's always changing.
Yeah, that one's definitely not going to work.
Okay, so sorry, go ahead, Arthur.
WordPress?
No, this is Constant Contact.
The website?
Mhm.
Because there's no canonical tag. That's a big issue right there.
I haven't touched my SEO. I haven't worked inside of the SEO tags of anything yet. I'm scared. And I haven't touched SEO. I've done all the other things, but I haven't like gone inside of the back end of things. So everything that I'm looking at right now is just what's on the page itself.
Well,
Do I need to work on the little SEO tags and work on that before I look into this?
Yes, you gotta get your on-site SEO, your basic SEO taken care of.
Okay.
Because you have no canonical, you have no meta description, no HTML tags. No schema. You don't even have a sitemap or analytics. So there's a lot within the structure that needs to be taken care of before you start thinking about SEO. Well, the structure is on-site SEO that needs to be addressed. That's what you need to focus on first.
So inside of the site itself, in the SEO boxes, my phrasing should be accountability partner, business coach, and those things behind the scenes, correct?
Well, first you need a description, the description of your website, of your business. That you need to have at least 160 characters for your meta description. Yeah, I'm not familiar with Constant Contact website. I'm not even sure how they're structured or what you have access to.
Okay. I'll go in and look at it.
Yeah, because you need a description for your website. I mean, what's strange is you have no canonical, and that's the main link of your website. So there's nothing within the structure that's pointing to the canonical.
Okay, I'll go play with that then.
when
And
you're
then I'll come back.
when you were thinking about doing optimization, and I think we pointed out that this particular page is the one that you want to target because the homepage is changing, and this one has the main idea that you are targeting in your website. Isn't that correct?
So this one would be where it has the accountability partner. Listening to you guys talk, I need to add more information on business coach and things like that. But it's a lot because there's so much inside of it already.
Well, you're telling yourself things that you're probably not hearing because
Right.
this page is about, and then you had one, then you had another, then you had another. When you do SEO, the best way to have any single page so that you can optimize it well is to be about one subject. If you have multiple subjects, you now have the home page.
Okay.
And it's not
So
easy to
focus on one SEO per page.
one, and you can have multiple keyword terms, but the focus should be about one keyword term in specific. And
Okay.
let's just say that I don't think accountability partner is what you would use, but just because it's there, we can just say, all right, well, let's just say that that's your target. That's in an H2, it should be an H1 if this is the most important thing on the page, because that's where your H1 tag should be, is in that position on the page, but it contains the term that you really want to target. And then to figure out what you want to target, that's where it becomes a bit difficult because you need to use the keyword planner and start going through some keyword terms to find which one of these keyword terms is first highly relevant to the page, second is searched a lot. So if you're 0 to 5, that's a pretty bad term. Does that make sense?
Right.
So get in here and start looking at the Google Keyword Planner, or wherever you feel that you can get something that's as close to being Google, even if it's not. Does that make sense? So if you're using SEMrush or something else that is a good place to get keyword terms, that's fine. But I would also check Google. It's a pain in the rear end to set it up, but once it's there, it's free. You can go in and you can search as many times a day as you want in searching for terms. So if you said accountability partner, just because that's the name of the page already, we can put this in here and say, well, that's not bad. There's 1,000 to 10,000 people that are searching that. And that's nationally. Accountability buddy is 100 to 1,000. So you can go down that list to see, are there other terms that could be better? And the answer to that question is no. The suggestions are no better.
Too.
Sorry, what was that?
You've got low competition too.
Yes, the accountability partner is the best term on the page. Online accountability partner is increasing, but it's still 0 to 100. There's not very many people searching that. But this first one, accountability partner, would be good, but from what I'm hearing, that's really not what that page is about. Is that true?
Oh, it is. So I'm an
It is.
accountability partner, and so I do one-on-ones, and I have group accountability as well. So that whole page is just being accountable. So that's where that page is. That's just my accountability partner services.
Okay, so accountability partner is something that you do, and obviously a lot of people search that. That's a term, and I didn't see anything in the search that we did, but you might have something else in your mind because you know your business. So search other terms to see if anything is better. But if it's not, okay, you got accountability partner. This needs to be in an H1 tag, not an H2. Does that make sense?
Right.
And what is create a space of support? Why is that there?
I think I was, when you guys were talking is kind of when I was putting this together.
Okay.
The top part. The bottom's been put together, but you guys were talking about what's that keyword. And I can't, BizStorming shouldn't be the keyword. What are they looking for? So I was like, okay, accountability partner needs to be at the top of the page,
Mhm.
and it needs to be prominent. So
Yes.
I need to make sure that it's a T1. And then thinking about accountability, the quote that I put below it has accountability repeated in there. And so I put that quote for the word block because the rest of the page does not have a word block.
Okay. We're going to go back and forth between them, so you already know what's on the page. The first thing visually that I would change is having all of this in one paragraph. Because you have to think about the readers coming to the page. Even though bots come, you think, well, they don't care, so it's not. They look at it and they go, is this easy for people to read? And they report back to Google whether it is or not. So you get points off if it's not easy to read. So you want to separate this, and accountability is the opportunity. Would you say that? Would you describe that to somebody that you're talking to?
I have a whole video post on this particular quote.
Do you have okay, so this is a quote from someplace from Werner Erhard.
Mm-hmm.
What's the reason for having that quote there?
It's really the source of what accountability is, and a lot of people ask, what is accountability? Where does it come from? And one of my friends actually gave me this quote because they said, this is what you do for us. And
Okay.
so that is where I kind of brought that in. And like I said, I literally just added that probably about 30 minutes ago, so I haven't worked on how it visually looks. I was just thinking about, okay, if it has accountability, that's going to put that word up on there, because like I said, I don't have a lot of the word blocks. I don't have a blog. I have a lot of simple, there's a lot of simple. So I don't have the big word block. So I was thinking, how do you accommodate that with what you were saying about making sure there's vocabulary in there.
Your term in this case, what
Is
we've
accountability
determined
partner.
so far is accountability partner. How many times
So
have
that's
you
what would
repeated
have to be down there.
that needs to be in here? Not just accountability, and this may all be very true, but the first thing that you want to do is make sure that you reference this person so that you don't get in trouble for copying something from someplace else and using that in your site. Even though it's got the person's name, doesn't really reference where.
Right.
You could even
no,
just
I get that.
highlight and link to that person's page where this came from.
Yeah, I'm working on that part.
Okay.
I was just kind of trying to see what it looked like, and how it worked out.
Okay. And so you get that linked, and then you start tearing this thing apart and going, okay, what can I do to make this better? And it looks like that's it's interesting that there's nothing breaking it, but you only have that width on the page. Oh, I see. It's got two columns. That's why.
It's a weird.
Do you see
I
that?
have to play in constant contact to get it to look good, and depending on what you select, I like constant contact because it's simple, but you can't just throw it together real quick.
Do you see the dotted lines on the screen? That's showing you that there's two columns here.
Yeah, there's supposed to be an image next to it, and so I was messing with that system to see what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do that. I almost thought about putting the video of that quote next to it.
Three columns, actually. So you've got a sidebar over here on the left, and then you have two spaces for text or a picture, depending on whatever that you want to do. So that's why they've got this in a column, and it's restricted as far as the area for the text. So that's something up to you. But as far as SEO, yeah, you want to separate that so that the visitors can see that it is. But also consider, would you talk to somebody like this? If you were just talking to one of your friends, would you use this kind of description? Would you talk in this manner?
Yes.
So you would.
This is something that, because it's been brought into the space, it's one of the things that we use. I use this a lot for creating, like, resetting. Let's read this, let's reset, let's get back to where we need to be today. Or so it's one of the things that I do use as the tool for people to just remember and rebalance. And I'm not sold on it being on the site. I can take it off. I get what you're saying. It needs to say accountability partner. Like I said, I was just trying to mess with how that looks with SEO, right? How does this square up? Where do we put it? But like you said, accountability partner needs to be the phrase, not just accountability.
When I'm reading through this, I come to sentences like this one. When motivational dialogue comes up about your preference versus your commitments, I stop and I think, would I have said that to somebody that I'm just yickety-yicking with?
It's something that I always tell people, okay, stop. How does that sound? Does it align with you? Where are you, did you hear what you said? Where is that alignment? And that really falls in sync with that idea.
Yes. Okay, so you understand that part. Yep.
Yeah. This is, like I said, I have an entire video breaking down this entire quote and showing people how they can take it and utilize it.
Okay. Not that you would want the video on the page, and I'm not going to even suggest that, but, so you know you've got some homework to do on this. And
Yes.
if you then rearrange, you add the word partner, so it's accountability partner.
Well, and by breaking it up, I can do as an accountability partner,
Yep.
this is how we promote this.
Right,
And so I'll be able
Yes.
to break up the entire thing. Yeah.
but,
I get you. I'm with you.
okay, good. I was just going to next step on this exact same spot. If you do break that up and you're adding those different things, you're then changing this quote so it's no longer a quote of this person. So there wouldn't be the necessity to make a link. But I would, just because of the fact that you're saying, or, you know, I would add in that most of this comes from Werner Erhard.
And
Yeah,
I will definitely have him, the links to it and everything
Yeah.
registering back to him. And throughout my whole site, I legitimately link to several companies,
Okay.
several people. That is my forefront, is supporting and connecting and making people, you know, just really creating that space. So it wasn't intended to not be linked. I just,
Mhm.
like I said, inside of this meeting, I was.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
okay,
you haven't
how
got
do
there
I
yet.
use this?
And I understand that. I'm just saying that if you do break it up, it's not a specific quote from that person, but I'd still give him credit for it. Arthur, you had something
Yeah.
to say on that too.
You know, even breaking it up, it's still lifetime content.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But no matter how you cut it up, it's still lifetime
It's
content.
still his
If you're
words,
using
yeah.
the specific verbiage that he uses without changing anything, then yeah, it's still his. Even if you made all kinds of spaces in there and broke it up however you wanted.
You would
Yeah,
have to use
no, I'm
block,
gonna work on that.
use a block quote attribute
Yeah.
in your, if you can divide it up, but you're gonna have to put it in block quotes with your editor. I'm not sure what Content Contact has for an editor, but, what kind of tools it has, but, I know with WordPress, you know, you have block quotes, you know, which quotes, you know, and then you're okay, but
Because this has the two columns, and you can play with this, it's just an idea that as I was sitting here listening to you guys, you can keep the whole thing together and put it in the column on the right and say that it's a block quote. Quote the thing so that we know, that visitors know that yes, that's definitely a quote from him. And then on the left side, you break it down into accountability partner. So you've got a couple of options here. You've got plenty of space on that right side. But make sure that you go through ranks after you've changed something. I'm going to say that differently. When you make a change to your page, don't let it sit for 4 or 5 days. You want to make that change and see what ranks is telling you about it so that when you decide that you're going to leave it for a few days, that's fine for the bots to come in and take a look at it. But you've already got the page there. Bots have probably already come through and taken a look at it. So they're on the hunt. When you make a change, they're going to come back. But if you made the change but you didn't finish the change, they're taking that back home and saying, well, it's an unfinished page. I mean, that's just me. It's like when I work on a page, I'm going to go, okay, I know they're here, so I'm going to hurry up and try to get this page done. I want it done before that day is out so that just in case those bots come, they see what I had planned. And if I see a misspelled word or something like that, I can go back and, oh, that's no big deal. They don't care. They're going to find it the next time, so I've corrected that. So you're well on your way at any rate. I mean, it sounds like you got a handle on it. Doing well for having a question at the end of the meeting. Very good. Thank you for that question. Any others before we go? Better stop the share so I can see. I know we've lost most of the people. We're still got 15 though. Any other questions, anybody? We did our old norm that we're not supposed to do, Arthur. Look at the time.
Yeah, I know, I know. 2 hours again.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. We'll see you. Bye, John. That'll be the end for today. Next week, networking. Spread the word, but everybody will find out when I post it. We're going to network next week. You're welcome, Kevin. Thank you for joining us. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Brittany, thank you for the question. It was very good. All those who are still here. And Blair's going to hang out for a minute. Okay. Bye, folks.